Hello again. You are listening to Is This Strange? Stories of the Unusual by KL and Roxy. So last time we discussed the knocking that happened, which still blows my mind to this day because it rattled everything. It was so
It was
loud.
not an accidental knock or something hitting it or.
No, not at all.
I'm just glad it wasn't a bear, but still.
Considering
But
we both ran out.
It rattled the house. It was so loud,
So we're going to tell our final story,
Yeah.
and we're going to wrap up our weirdly wonderful house that we didn't get to buy after all. But it's not your fault. You got hurt, obviously.
No.
And I guess in the grand scheme of things, everything worked out great because now we live in Colorado instead.
Mm-hmm.
So everything happens. I don't want to say everything happens for a reason because you didn't have to get hurt to do it. But
no.
Instead of being in Pennsylvania, we live in Colorado. And the weirdness hasn't stopped. I don't think it ever will.
Might be cheap if it's still haunted. Never know.
Stop that. Have to win the lottery first.
I know. You have to realize that one of the things that didn't happen with the move to Colorado was that Kale wants a house on a rail trail, so that she can just go out the back door with her bike and go straight onto the rail trail and ride for hours. That would be the ultimate goal for you with a house.
Or yeah, because we didn't move to the biking section. Colorado is super bike friendly, but not our area.
Well, that's because this isn't the expensive area and we can't afford expensive.
Yeah, and we don't have any awesome trails. Our awesome trail is 2 hours away?
Yeah.
I ride the roads.
But we are working on getting you little trails through the property.
That's true. All right.
Anyways.
So our last story for this house, and I have to say, I said when we came in, it felt like a hug, like that, like we were being welcomed. When we had to leave, it felt stark. It didn't feel welcoming anymore. It felt as sad as I did in some ways about leaving.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things about this house, it had a bedroom. It had 2 bedrooms, but one bedroom was obviously an add-on.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, just never wanted to go in there. Ended up using it as a closet, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
It was ended up just becoming a huge closet because nobody wanted to spend time in there doing anything else except throwing the clothes in and leaving.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a welcoming room. Don't know why. Have no idea. All I can say is, out of the most of the house, it was not a welcoming room. But we also had this really cool, I guess it basically, because it was a telegraph house, it had this desk that was built into the wall. It would fold up and be flat against the wall. And then when you needed it, you would just open up this drawer, pull everything down. It was awesome. And it was right next to a window, and it was in this little cubby. It was actually a little cubby that it was built into.
Right, and the window opened up onto the porch, so What we assumed was that people would walk up onto the front porch and go to the window because it had a weird little area, like elbow room area, where you would open the window and the telegraph person would be there.
So, as a writer, this would have been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It was a desk. You could take and store your computer in it, things like that. No. It only got used for mail and to store notebooks.
Mm-hmm.
I never sat there to type.
And we always kept it closed too.
Yeah, we did. We always kept it closed.
And sometimes you'd come down
and it wasn't.
It wasn't closed anymore. Somebody was sending a telegraph.
Oh my God, I totally forgot that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I forgot that we'd come down a couple times and it was open.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes a lot of energy if you think about it, to interact with the physical world.
Mm-hmm.
That takes a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't say they were drawing off of my energy because I actually felt more energetic there. Yeah. I was riding my bike like 24 miles a day.
I know. It
would have been 6 days a week almost.
And it would have been a perfect thing because they had left all the old chimneys.
Yeah.
And had all the little thimbles still there. And there was obviously had been a pot belly or small stove right there so you'd stay toasty while you were having the window open all the time.
So the problem is nobody wanted to sit there.
No.
not because you felt something bad was going to happen. It just didn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't feel right to sit there. It felt
Mm-hmm.
like you were sitting on someone or you were intruding in somebody's
Mm-hmm.
space.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a very wide bubble. I don't like a lot of people in my
Mm-hmm.
bubble, and I have an extremely, it's not like a 3 foot by 3 foot
Mm-hmm.
bubble.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is like a 12 foot by 12 foot bubble.
Mm-hmm. So
So
that corner was completely ignored. I think
the
the
only
farthest
thing
we
we
went
would,
over to is the front door to go to the porch.
no, I
But
would
that
go over
corner,
there and open up the windows.
yeah.
And that was the other thing. If you went over there and opened up the windows,
Mm-hmm.
you would have like this chattering. You'd have chattering in your ear. And you don't know why, because nobody was there.
Mm-hmm.
But you would actually feel like you had a chattering in your ear. We never used this super convenient desk because I didn't want to sit on someone. And that's really what it
Yeah.
felt like. It really felt like I was intruding. And that was one of the spots where you would smell the pipe smoke
Mm-hmm.
super strong.
We didn't even put a chair in front of there like would be normal, because it was
We
useful,
tried.
and it didn't work. Mm-mm.
When we first moved in, it was like, oh, wow, look at this. And we did put a chair there. We put a
Yeah.
computer chair there. It would have been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
No, ended up going and getting a computer desk.
Yeah.
and putting it over in front of the other windows
Yeah.
because it just didn't feel right. It was, and like I said, it wasn't like anyone was like slamming desks on your fingers or doing anything like that.
Mm-mm.
It just really felt like you were in somebody else's space, like you were interfering with their work. So that is it for our weirdly wonderful house.
Which we unfortunately had to leave soon afterwards, and
I know we were there for
Yeah.
2 years.
yeah, it just I
And
got
there was
hurt.
a lot. I mean, the lady touching my hair
Yeah,
so often. That was just about every
it was
night.
weird. And people have to realize this was a dead zone. There was nothing there other than the occasional car, and we had to actually get boosters because we couldn't even get cell signal there.
That's true.
And
So we didn't have like a lot of electrical magnetic interference or
no,
anything
not at
like
all.
that.
No,
We did have to.
It was like a null zone. It was like a little bubble in the middle of nowhere, and it was absolutely awesome. It was pretty isolated and quiet, and I don't know. It was just a really weird, unique place. That's probably like 4 times the value it was when we were looking at it.
I don't know.
But no, that was one of the places that we would have really loved to have rehabbed and turned into something completely awesome. So,
like I said, if we ever win the lottery,
yep, if we ever win the lottery,
that would be the only place that I think I would give up Colorado for
yeah,
permanently.
mm-hmm.
Would be to go back to that house.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, maybe it does still have a hold on me. I've never been able to stop thinking about that house in all these years.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't, like I said, it was a drafty house. It was stone. It wasn't brick. It was stone.
And above the stone first floor, it was those little slats with the horsehair.
Yeah.
I want to say stucco, but it wasn't stucco. But
It's like
it's plaster, the horsehair plaster, and that's like an inch thick, and they would just slap it on there so it would stick between these little tiny 1 inch.
And it was
wide
ugly ass yellow.
Oh my god! It was Gerber baby food, that puke yellow orange stuff that
I don't know.
Yeah, you know
so
what color
we wouldn't
it is.
even.
It was the color of a 74 Gremlin.
So we didn't even. But I wasn't going to paint it until we owned it.
Yeah.
Needless to say, we had to put up with that color for a very long time.
It was obviously handmade too, which was really weird because they used a lot of odd shaped hand hewn floorboards and stuff, and it was like a fun house.
Yeah,
nothing was completely flat,
And so to wrap this up, I will say real quick, one of the good things that came out of that house, is Hissy. Hissy, our cat, adopted us. She showed up as a tiny pregnant kitten.
Yeah,
and needless to say, when we left Pennsylvania, we took Hissy because we had already gotten her fixed. So we took Hissy and we kept 2 of the kittens, which is Morris and Myrrh. And if anyone is familiar on Facebook and follows me on Facebook, you have seen Morris.
Myrrh's a shadow cat. She just kind of hides and hangs out. She's not
camera hog like
Morris. No. And we still have Hissy, and she's the most awesome kitty cat ever.
Yep.
And she was feral, and she lived in one of our vehicles
for 2 weeks while I tried to get her out.
Because she would not leave the undercarriage, and we had to convince her.
We took her back to North Carolina. We got her fixed.
Yep.
She lived with us in North Carolina. Then she started traveling in a bus with all the other critters. And then we
Yes.
moved out here to Colorado, and now she lives in a house that she gets to parkour kitty in all the time.
Yep.
So yeah, we
she is
still
our
have
parkour
Hissy.
kitty. She's an awesome little
She
cat.
is the one thing that we took with us from the Pennsylvania house. Is our little feral cat that is not feral anymore.
Who now sleeps on your head?
Yep. Thank you for joining us on our reminiscing of our house in Pennsylvania. It was actually a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I love that house so much.
Yeah.
So it was fun, and a lot of weird things happened. And on the next one, I think we're going to start talking about our place in North Carolina.
Yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about that on our next one. Until then, again, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, and you can find me on Facebook. Don't go to the Facebook page, though, because Facebook won't let me update it anymore. So you can find a group, though, that is called Is This Strange? And you can find this group on Facebook. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.